even though you're planning for it, you still don't want to sell that to your fans. You don't want to make it known that you are tanking. So what you want to do is you definitely, because the market has discriminated against 30-plus-year-olds. It's definitely been drawn out that this league is a young man's game, and the fact that you want to all of a sudden just start selling people from now, I feel like their value is low. I could attest to you. You have to know what the other person wants. All right. I have to know what Ricky's team needs. All right. I can't just be selling off everyone. So I say you wait closer to the deadline, because then what does that happen? You get desperation, and desperation is the best motivator, because that makes you solidify deals and do deals and make them happen without having time.
Yeah, no, and I understand that, and I actually have here, I would trade away what I can now. The thing with the Mets, I've said it already, and we'll go back and forth. I'm doing what I can now. Why am I waiting? I'm looking at the fan base, and Mets fans aren't stupid. They had a chance at some victories a while ago, and why are we waiting? I don't know.
So you're thinking we should just sell now?
Yeah, just sell now. Well, what am I giving it to?
Because you're selling parts. Okay, well, we'll use a great explanation. Matt Harvey, you sold them for nothing. If you're coming to people, right, and you're saying, oh, take the player I don't want, they're not going to give you anything. They're going to give you an A-ball player and maybe cash.
What was Harvey worth to you? Because he was pitching at over 6 ERA.
To my estimation, I wouldn't have traded him, because the value is so low. And the worst thing you wanted to do is put him in the bullpen. Why? Because now you've gotten his confidence down. You made him pissed off. And now think about going to a place that you don't want to work at. All right? You're in a bad atmosphere. You're not going to perform.
But maybe, and this was the thing against Zach Greinke. When the Yankees were thinking about Greinke, they needed a guy who maybe wasn't going to get bombarded by the media. Everything Harvey was doing was criticized. He ate breakfast the wrong way. He peed the wrong way. Puma, imagine you walking down the street. You go into your car and you close the door the wrong way. These were the things Harvey was doing. So his fastball didn't have the right movement. The spin rate wasn't up. Everything he was doing, and maybe Cincinnati, I'm not saying he's going to win there. Maybe it's a place for him to reset.
I think it's a calming environment. You don't have the stress of having 10,000 reporters in your face. I mean, you have probably 2 from the local newspaper. So the stress is not there. He can beat Matt Harvey. And you know what? I've been a Harvey fan for a very long time. And I love Matt Harvey. I want to see him do well. Would I wanted to see him do well with the Mets? Absolutely. But you know what? I was told once a long time ago, you have to root for players in this league more than teams, because tomorrow your favorite player might get traded. So I'm rooting for Matt Harvey, and I hope he does excellent. So moving on now, all right, Ricky, it's your time to have the floor, because you are the NBA guy. It's your time to shine. What's going on in the NBA? I hear there's a playoffs going on.
Yeah, big news. Before we get to that, I'm just going to read off for all you NBA fans out there. The all NBA teams came out today. I'll read them off first. First team, LeBron, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant. No surprises there. Second team, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Russell Westbrook, Joel Embiid, LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan. Some of those guys, I'll talk about in a minute. Third team, Steph Curry, Victor Oladipo, who was breakout this year. Great season. Karl Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler, and Paul George. Biggest snubs, in my opinion. Chris Paul. Chris Paul's still leading the Rockets right now with James Harden. Chris Paul stepped up the other night. One of the things that he did.
He's an assist monster, right?
He was a floor general. And that's one of the things that...
He's Peyton Manning out there on the court.
Right. He was a floor general, and he was good, and he's not electric like Curry or Russell Westbrook.
He's not fancy. He gets it done.
Does this guy not deserve to be a third team? What? I'm the biggest Steph guy out there. he was more consistent than Steph. Steph missed a ton of games. Like, Damian Lillard, first team great. Damian Lillard was good. I can't find him in the playoffs, so he must have been... Maybe he was looking for Stanton's furniture.
He was out to dinner.
He was looking for Stanton's furniture.
That's where he was.
Right, that's right. Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
Another snub.
Okay.
You know, all the headlines out there are Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell this, Donovan Mitchell that. Rudy Gobert, an unbelievable defensive player. Mm-hmm. And now they're not in the playoffs anymore, but they did pretty well to beat the Thunder with Westbrook, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Melo. Right. So they did well, and it wasn't just Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, I don't even know if we can have a drink together. I don't even know if he's 21. So Rudy Gobert was a big piece of that team. Al Horford, right now, another calming presence who didn't make any of these first, second, or third team. Calming presence for the Celtics. Everyone talks about Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge. Let me give you some of the guys that have played for the Celtics this season. Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier had 0 playoff experience. Terry Rozier, nothing. So we have Terry Rozier. We know Kyrie's out. We know Gordon Hayward's out. Guys with playoff experience, Kyrie's already won a title.
I miss Kyrie.
So we have, we all do. We wanted to see Kyrie and LeBron.
That star power.
We wanted to see it, and we're not going to. But we have Terry Rozier. Jaylen Brown has emerged as a star.
I love Jaylen Brown.
Not a superstar. No. He's a star. So you got Jaylen Brown with no experience. You got Terry Rozier with no experience. Marcus Smart, still a pretty young guy, he's a rough rider, a bulldog. He doesn't have much playoff experience. So we look at Al Horford, and maybe he's not flashy. He's not a
big boy.
Big boy.
Atlanta Hawks. I remember when he was on the Atlanta Hawks.
The Kyle Korver and Jeff Teague and Paul Millsap, and that was the team that threatened LeBron when the Hawks were the first seed.
Always get the unders with them.
Right. The Hawks were the only teams that played defense.
Yeah.
Enough about Al Horford. He's doing great in Boston.
República Dominicana.
Right. A little Dominican Republic flair here. we're gonna move over. My biggest snub, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons leads the team. I love Joel Embiid. He's most known for his Instagram post. Ben Simmons. All right. Let me bring this up. Joel Embiid wouldn't be a near 10th of a player he is without Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a little bit of magic, a little bit of LeBron. Now, I'm not saying he's nearly as good as these players, and he can't shoot to save his life. But what he can do is he makes you better. Imagine a LeBron, Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons team in Philly, and you want to talk about Kyrie, who's sitting there loving life right now? Here comes Philly, if that's a move. And we'll talk later as a summer.
You would never think an option for LeBron to be Boston.
Oh, LeBron going to Boston? No. Kyrie went there. You want to talk about big brother, little brother?
I understand.
Kyrie left to go. He picked in his own franchise.
He would look nice in green, bro.
Why do the Celtics need him? Why would the Celtics need him?
But you see what I mean? I feel as if, remember when Cleveland came back from that 3-1 deficit against the Warriors, right, in the championship? And
thanks to Kyrie, by the way.
You're absolutely right. I feel in the end it's all about winning. And when you think about it, yes, do I want to be treated Robin to his Batman? I want to be my own person. I want to, it was like a Westbrook Durant type of deal where they're strangling each other for control. But I feel in the end you just go back to what you know best, and that's being together and trying to win a chip. I think it's possible, but you're the basketball guy, so we'll go by what you're saying.
And before I touch on the playoffs, Russell Westbrook, he averaged a triple-double last year, and that was the talk of the league. This year, he does it once again, and he was the MVP of the league last year, and first team. This year, he makes second team. To me, and alone, that's a snub. It's something that he's got to take care of. I mean, Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double, and he's only second team. So I don't know, Puma. I'm looking at it this way, and he's too good to be second team. So the NBA's got to take a look at these NBA all NBA teams, and really, is this a fan vote, or who's voting on this? How does this happen? Because you average a triple-double for the second year in a row? You were the MVP 1 year, first team, and now you're a second team. So well, thank goodness we're going to be talking about playoffs, something that matters. And
something that matters. Jesus.
Quick update before we get there.
Give me the update.
Anthony Davis before Unibrow by making the first team All-NBA. He's now available $230 million Supermax extension.
Wow. That's hey, now he could get it. Didn't he get it like waxed or something?
It was fake. I don't. You didn't see it. It was fake. They faked it. He just covered it.
I only knew him because he had a unibrow. I heard he's really good.
He's good. So I just real quick, we'll go over this before we get into some football.
Yes.
Cavs Celtics tomorrow night, Game 6.
Okay.
Celtics up 3-2. Teams have held their own on their home floor. The Celtics have only won one game on the road these playoffs, but the home court's helping them out. Game 3, they won pretty easily last night, 96-83. LeBron, well, I don't know what else the guy can do. He outscored his own other starting members 26-24. 4 guys combined for 24 points. Don't get me into that. You got George Hill and J.R. Smith, the starting backcourt, 2 for 11 combined, 0 for 4 from 3. What do they pay J.R. Smith to do if he can't hit a shot?
To take off his shirt.
Right, Puma, he takes off his shirt and he gets paid $1 million. I mean, can we get anyone to do that? You can pay me 1/50th of the money that J.R. Smith is doing. I'm not probably physically as attractive as J.R. Smith, but I'll do it. I'll do it for a lot less. And then I got Tristan Thompson. Mr. Tristan Thompson. Again, he's only in the headlines
thinking
for
about
the
Chloe.
Right,
Come on, bro.
All right. I mean, well, while you're thinking about Chloe and you're not shooting the ball anyway, you can't grab more than 6 rebounds in 26 minutes. Fine.
Bomb.
Okay. Let me go through the plus minus. LeBron minus 11. Minus 23 for Kevin Love. Tristan Thompson minus 15. George Hill minus 21. And we got JR minus 19. For all of you folks who don't know, the plus minus is while you're on the floor, what did you contribute? So LeBron, while he was on the floor, his team got outscored by 11 points. That looks great compared to the minus 23 Kevin Love put out there. While the Celtics, on the other hand, they got 5 guys in double figures. Al Horford with 15. Tatum poured in 24. Crossing people up left and right. Jaylen Brown, we talked about. Morris off the bench with 13. Smart off the bench with
Morris.
13. Oh, why? Well, why don't you like Morris? Because you can't tell the difference between him and his twin brother, Keith? You know
can
what?
Take them both and put them in the garbage.
Right. Well, Marcus Morris, he's playing well. There's nothing I can say. He poured in 13.
Bad experience.
He poured in 13 last night. So one of the things that he does is he brings energy and a toughness
off
and
the bench and stuff like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. And
good rebounder? Is he good rebounder?
He's decent. He's got some build. He's big body. 6'7", 6'8". He can.
That is a big boy.
Yeah, he's not as tall as Al Horford, but he's got some girth. He's the best defender for LeBron, if nothing else. He doesn't score. He can defend
really?
LeBron.
I would think Al Horford would be.
Al Horford's not as laterally quick, Puma. We've talked about this before. Morris is the best defender. You need someone who can match his length,
physicality.
Right, and that's we talked about before. That's what makes Andre Iguodala so good. And we're going to get into the Rockets and the Warriors right now.
Oh, my favorite.
Game 5 tonight for all you over fans out there.
219.
Don't do it. It's 219. It's 219 as Puma just kindly pointed out to us. We're looking at it.
Why shouldn't we do it? Rick?
Am I going to get to the preview, or are we going through the over-unders?
I'll get to it.
I'll get to it.
All right, let's
First
go.
of all, Game 4 had no Andre Iguodala.
Okay.
So he didn't play. So Game 4 was an upset by my estimation. The Warriors scored 18 points in the second quarter, 12 points in the fourth quarter. You got Kevin Durant. You've got a slightly injured Klay Thompson. You got Steph Curry. You got Draymond Green. You get 12 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's
how are you doing this? I don't understand. And
don't take second halves. But yeah, go on.
Right, sure. I'm not taking second halves. Fine. Thank goodness I don't live in Vegas. But I'm looking at it, and I've got a few reasons why.
Okay.
That game folded the way it is, and hopefully tonight is different from the Warriors' perspective. Fatigue. Multiple guys with 40-minute games. Durant, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala are the defensive stalwarts for that team. They bring the defensive effort, they bring the energy, and we've talked about it before. Andre Iguodala is the guy that is long, he's athletic. The best forward you have, you're getting Andre Iguodala, or in this case, James Harden. James Harden's fear of the beard, as you always tell me. Fear of the beard.
I love that beard.
You only know it because you have your beard yourself. But anyway, and then you got Klay Thompson guarding.
He scores.
And he scored. And Klay Thompson's guarding usually the point guard or the second best scorer. So you got Andre Iguodala, he's out. So now you're putting Klay Thompson on James Harden. Klay Thompson, we know, twisted his lower leg last night. I believe it was the ankle. And,
okay.
And so now you got no Andre Iguodala. You have guys doing a little more than they should. And in playoff time, I know fatigue is not. It's not something that Draymond Green. He was asked by reporters last night, and he said, you guys are bringing up fatigue. If you want us to use that excuse, we'll use it. We're not going to. And I love that by Draymond Green. He brings the team together. He's like, we're not doing that. This is the playoffs. No one's going to look back at it 5 years from now and say it was fatigue. So one of the things that I looked at for the Warriors was fatigue.
Okay.
But fatigue is just a nice way of saying the Warriors played bad. Let's look at the Rockets. Can we give them some credit, please? Because Chris Paul...
Well, they got the 1 seed for a reason.
They did, and you know what it is? They are hungrier than the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are trying to be the best team ever.
They're just tired of winning. Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's not an excuse. This team led by Chris Paul and James Harden and Trevor Ariza and PJ Tucker, they are rough riders now.
That's a good word.
Yeah, James Harden was criticized last year for bowing out. Awful in the playoffs. Awful. Completely awful. Him and Russell Westbrook were up for MVP, and Russell Westbrook took it because he averaged a triple-double.
Right, he's insane.
He's a freak athlete and freak everything. Everything he does is fantastic.
Could you just imagine that he was the sixth man, James Harden, once upon a time
on that Thunder team, and that was when LeBron had to team up with Wade and Bosh and Mike Miller and Chalmers was there.
But back to your point, yeah.
Right. And one of the things, CP3 ran the show down the stretch, and when I looked at Golden State, Steph couldn't do it. Klay Thompson's not a guy who brings the ball up. Draymond Green was exhausted. Kevin Durant gave the ball to Klay Thompson to let him shoot at the end. So if I'm looking for Game 5 tonight, Rockets get out in transition, shoot the 3 ball, and feed off the energy from the crowd. You got the game. You got the game.
Home field advantage.
Right. You got it. You got that elusive victory on the road. Now what you need to do is carry that momentum into it. Playoffs, it's hard to carry it from game to game, but you've got to carry that momentum.
Your pick for tonight. Who's winning? Warriors or Rockets?
I'm going to take Golden State. And the reason I say that is I think Thompson's going to be healthy.
Okay.
I don't know if Andre Iguodala is going to be back, but we'll find out in about an hour or so. If I'm Golden State, this is the first time this year that we know we're the most talented. It's not a matter of talent. But I look at the other side and I say, now I'm in a series. Mm-hmm. If they lose tonight, obviously Game 6 at home is a must-win. You're down 3-2. I don't know if I'm winning a Game 7 in Houston. I think this is the opportunity for them to win it in 6, which was my original prediction when the series started. Take care of business tonight. They're already in under. A lot of people are looking at the Warriors like, all right, this is going 7 because Houston will take 5. Golden State will take 6. Now we have a Game 7. I say they go into Houston tonight, get the win, and take care of business Game 6. If it gets to Game 6 and the Warriors have 3-2, it's not going back to Houston. I can promise you that. Kevin Durant won't let it happen.
In the beginning of this series, I had said I could see Golden State like running right through them. 5, if not 4. After seeing the other night's performance by the Houston Rockets, I believe they will take it tonight, the Houston Rockets. Because I know it sounds crazy, and I'm not the basketball guy, but it's something about a thing called momentum, all right? I watch sports. I know these things. They're coming home. It's going to be crazy. Everyone's probably going to wear all black or all white, whatever they're going to do. They're going to have a whiteout campaign. And I could see them going crazy. I could see them putting up 140 points. Houston Rockets, fear the beard, 140 to 120. Mark it down. Houston takes the lead in the series, 3-2.
For all you over fans out there, you heard it here from Puma, 140-120. If you took the over at 257, which I pray you didn't do, you're going to hit it, according to Puma.
Well, if you took it at intermission in the fourth quarter, it'd be that.
Right. I guess Puma's hoping for a 20 point win in overtime.
I just love offense, and I think I know a lot of telecasters had said the best series would probably be Cleveland and Boston, because just for the mere fact that everyone thinks Golden State is just going to run through people.
Right, and I think this is the better series. I think right now this is the better series. It brings more excitement.
I think more star power for sure, because in the other matchup you have LeBron. He's the story there. But in this matchup, you got like 7 All-Stars on the court. And you know what? It's something to take about in sports. I know they were mentioning on the radio the other day that Curry and all the other guys were like celebrating like 1 minute into the, they thought they were going to win and go up 3-1. Well, you know what? That's bulletin board material for teams. I don't care what sport it is. If you start celebrating too early thinking that you've got this wrapped up and you're going to just run over people, no. I say Golden State needs their back against the wall. Now, I think they will take it ultimately probably in Game 7, because obviously if Houston were to win tonight, like I say. So I think Houston wins tonight, like I said, 140-120.
And obviously we're going to agree to disagree. And
we'll see.
I've seen Golden State, and I think their backs are against the wall.
Yeah.
I don't think they would win a Game 7 in Houston. So I think they've had everyone's. It's interesting you point this out. Last year, LeBron gave a concession speech pretty much at the end of the Eastern Conference Finals and said, "I don't want to talk about the Golden State series." As soon as they had gotten into the finals and people were like, what are you going to do with Golden State? How are you going to prepare? He said, I don't really want to talk about that right now. In my estimation, that's LeBron saying, you know what? We got as far as we could. Golden State's going to win. And Golden State took care of them. And there were a lot of people that were saying maybe Kevin Durant's the best player in the world. Obviously, LeBron has shut all that out. And LeBron still is the best player in the world. And
that's why I say, for tonight's sake, I think Houston will take it. But ultimately, I say Kerr will go over to Durant and say, do your thing. Be the best player in the world, because I think he's right up there with LeBron. I think it's LeBron, KD, and like Westbrook. But definitely,
Anthony Davis? The guy's 6'11".
He's good for his unibrow. But I say, we're talking about this series. I say that Kevin Durant takes control then after tonight and takes the 2 games and does his thing.
I say I'll go Golden State. I'll go 108-101. I'm going to go a little lower scoring. One of the keys for the Warriors, they need to slow down the tempo. If they let Houston get out and
don't get into a pinball game.
Right. That's not what Golden. And it's ironic. We've always thought of the Warriors as shoot the three. With this Houston team that can put up the same sort of firepower, I think they got to go the opposite. I think the Warriors can win in more ways than Houston can. Mm-hmm. So what they need to do is try to split it up and get Durant the ball on the block.
Oh yeah, you gotta get him the ball. You gotta get him.
Steph, Clay, Draymond, Iggy, if you are there tonight, I don't care. Just get him the ball on the block. Someone, Steve Kerr, drop something. Please drop something. Please, I'm begging you here, because Kevin Durant is the best player you got. So. Golden State tonight.
Get it done.
Get it done.
Get it done. All right, folks. Well, moving on. I'm just going to give you some baseball updates. Pirates played in the Queen City today. They fell to the Cincinnati Reds. Castillo pitched a great game. You had Suarez 3 for 4, hit a grand slam. The guy's on fire. I think one of the best fantasy sleepers with Charlie Morton and like a D. Gordon. If you drafted those players, those are great pickups, because no one had them on their radar. Moving on, you had the Angels in Canada today. Trout, amazing. Another homer, 15th of the year. They won 8-1. Moving on, you had Baltimore visiting Chicago. Bundy against Giolito. Well, you know how that ended. Giolito went from prospect to suspect. Used to be high in the Nationals organization, and since he's been dealt for Adam Eaton, people were laughing at Mike Rizzo for that deal. Now it's like looking like pretty
who
even.
knows? Adam Eaton hasn't played either. I mean, they got
your buddy Ronaldo Lopez is actually looking the
Ronaldo
diamond.
Lopez is the better of the Giolito, and we had discussed earlier. Ronaldo Lopez is the Severino, and Giolito.
Another sleeper, folks. The guy has been lights out, averaging 8 Ks a game. But yes, in this game, Baltimore won, and the Palos fell 9-3. And then moving on, our final game for the day games, it was King Felix against Lucas for Oakland A's, and the A's took it 4-3.
Yeah,
so Seattle's still suffering from the Cano and D. Gordon loss.
Yeah, and then the A's we're taking up the mentality down in Tampa Bay. They went 2 innings. They got the ball to Trinan at the end. The A's went with the relief pitchers. It seems to be working out for these teams that are trying to do it. Get a reliever to start the game and see where it goes. And
I feel like that's so analytical, you know.
It is.
You're blowing out arms.
I'm new school. You're old school.
I feel like you're blowing through a lot of arms. What happened to the days in the 1950s when you had Bobby Gibson going 9+, striking out 10, complete game, and just pitching a 2-hitter? What happened to those days, pitching 120+ pitches?
And that's why it's so rare. That's why the guys like Scherzer and Kershaw and
those guys are unbelievable.
Keuchel, yeah, it's a rarity. Like we used to see these 4th and 5th starters, they would even go 100 pitches. Now the 4th and 5th starters, you're begging for 5.
Big babies.
Yeah,
I'm by the metrics. If you're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get hurt. You can't stop injury. So moving on, you have we're moving on to the NFL, and it screams, like many people would tell me, not for long. And the Not for Long League has a new draft place for 2019. It is Nashville, Tennessee. I feel like they're doing a kind of Super Bowl thing here, where like each year is a new city.
Yeah, and that's
the musical
smart.
city.
That's smart. That's very smart. Get different people involved. The Tennessee Titans, they don't make headlines.
And you're getting capital in that city, that
right,
town. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's one of the things, we talked about it earlier today. In 2023, it's going back to Phoenix, the Super Bowl. 2024 is going back to New Orleans. It's the big cities with the domes. The NFL draft, you have some of these smaller cities that have the ability to bring in some revenue to their economy, to the local economy for the people. And with the draft, it's a different aspect than the Super Bowl. So it's good to see places like Tennessee and some of these smaller markets get a bigger aspect, bigger event of football. Exactly.
No, I love it. I was from the old school thought. Have it in New York, you can make it here, make it anywhere. I mean, for years, I always told my dad, let's just go to Radio City, let's do it. And now I'm like, oh gosh, I should have went, because I miss out on that, being around people. And I believe the tickets were free or something like that. But I definitely miss thinking about going to an experience like that, because that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. I never got the chance to do it either. You're a big Jet supporter. I'm a Raven supporter, so I already feel bad.
I almost went to the. I never forget it. I almost went to the 2007 draft, but then my father got us tickets to go, because he's a travel agent. He got us tickets to go to Punta Cana. So then I missed out on us picking Darrelle Revis, the future Hall of Famer.
And now it's probably the best player the Jets have gotten since
of course,
then.
naturally, the one I wanted to go to, I missed out on.
Right, but I think, it's
first round, 14th pick.
It's good. It's good for the smaller teams.
Those
and
cities bringing capital.
Right, exactly. They're not going to get a Super Bowl in Nashville anytime soon.
Definitely.
So it's nice to see the draft is switching places and changing it up a little bit.
In NFL news, one of the news, this is one of the light news, is that the Jets turned around Christian Hackenberg for a 7th round pick to the Oakland Raiders. As a Jet fan, I am saying good riddance. I would have took him to the airport myself. Rick, what is your opinion on that? You think they should have kept him, or you think the Jets did the right thing?
I mean, the
here?
Jets. We'll talk about the rookies, and the Jets have a promising one later. But Hackenberg, 7th rounder. Long story short, what else were you going to get for him? What else were you going to get? So it's one of those things at 7th rounder. I would have given him donuts.
Better than nothing. Better than nothing.
Right. Get me some Dunkin' Donuts hot chocolate, some 6 donuts, and get Hackenberg out of here. Let me read the paper in peace. I don't want to see his name anymore. Him and Bryce Petty should go to lunch together and order each other some food because they can't
comfort food.
Right. They can't read the playbook. Maybe they could read the lunch menu.
The menu, right. I was speaking because I speak to this lovely couple, Jeff and Gwen. They're big Jets fans. They're season ticket holders.
Bigger than you?
You might say, because while they're at the games, I'm watching Red Zone. So I will say they're a little bit bigger. But I was texting back and forth to Jeff, and I said, I would even took a vending machine because that's how bad Hackenberg was. I don't think he got my analogy, but that's how bad he is.
At least the vending machine is going to try to bring in some revenue for you.
Right, exactly. And now they have the ones where you could put the credit card in.
That's
you see all the
better.
time on the MasterCard.
Right. But Christian Hackenberg, I'm sure he was getting direct deposit anyway, so he didn't even have to go cash the check himself. He would just check his account and see money that he didn't deserve in there. So now he's someone else's problem, and the Jets fans can move on to one of their other 99 issues that they have.
You know what I love here? I love that McCagnon can just admit that he made a mistake. The worst thing in the world is the definition of insanity, which is thinking that you do the same result and you do the same thing and expect a different result. So by them shipping him out, it's good to admit that, hey, we made a mistake. Let's move on. Sam Darnold is our future.
Yeah, no, it's finally good that he did admit his mistake. It took him 59 mistakes previously to admit the 60th one, but he got it right. And
he got it.
And the Jets, I love to give them some garbage, but they do have a promising future. And
USC, baby.
Hopefully USC 2.0 after Mark Sanchez, Mr. Darnold himself is...
It'll work out. It'll work out.
It'll work out for Jets fans.
Okay, moving on. We have some rule changes in the not-for-long league. In the NFL, one of the prominent rule changes is the national anthem stance and how it will affect players. I mean, I'm sure you guys have heard about this in the radio and the news and all that stuff. By them making this ruling, you either stand or stay in the locker room. Now, Ricky and I are not here to pick sides, but we are here to give our opinion. We're Switzerland of the group. And Rick, what do you think is should be the right way, or you think is this the right way?
I think this is a compromise. I'll look at it from both perspectives.
Do you call it a compromise?
I do.
Why?
Right now, the NFL, they thought it was disrespectful for their players. To break it down even further, they thought it was disrespectful for the players to be kneeling, even though it was peacefully. They understood that no one was bringing a gun out or anything like that. But, they thought it was disrespectful. The players thought, well, we don't have our exercise to understand our freedoms. In this country, we don't have to stand up for the national anthem. Everyone does it at a game. All the fans do it, and they please rise. We don't have to do it. And one of the things that don't want to do this, Donald Trump even said NFL players who don't stand for the national anthem maybe shouldn't be in this country. I think that's way past the realm.
That's garbage. That's garbage to me because you see what I mean? For long as we could read in our 7th grade civics book, okay, we would see that the black man, the African American in this country has been oppressed, okay? Now, yes, civil rights happened, thank God, and everything changed, but did it really change? I mean, you've got people getting tasered over a parking spot, but somebody that just shot up a school is getting all the rights, getting a lawyer, all this other stuff, when he should just be shot on the spot. So, Rick, to me, this isn't compromise. This is just saying you put a bunch of guys in a room, they made a decision, didn't have any player personnel in there, all right? You didn't have anybody from the Players Association, like a Malcolm Jenkins or a Chris Long that went up to Capitol Hill in past season. You didn't have any coaches, any families, like they said they would. So, to me, this is not compromise. This is a dictatorship, Now, do I believe they should be taking a knee? Absolutely not. I feel that there's different ways to go about it, all right? Because I feel like your way of saying it was a compromise, that's totally false. I think they should have, like I said, brought these people in a room and maybe get a donation thing going where we could help people who are being oppressed, or try to, get these groups together, get everybody involved. I feel like all this does is just project civil war. Take a side. Yeah. That's what it's basically saying. Yeah. Take a side.
And well, is this not better than what it was? Is this not an improvement as to what it was last year? Because whether we want to believe it or not, Colin Kaepernick still does not have a job in this league. So we can say, let's take a look. Let's backtrack. Let's take a look at Colin Kaepernick's career. Comes on, Alex Smith is hurt, comes on for the 49ers, almost leads them to a Super Bowl versus the Ravens. Watching every minute of it, up 28-6. The lights go out down in New Orleans, and what can we do? Ravens almost blow it. Crabtree thought he was held. Whatever the case may be. Michael Crabtree, now a Raven, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job, and whether people want to believe it or not, it's because he was kneeling, because he was so outspoken. Whether it's right or wrong, if I'm an NFL owner, I don't want that baggage. Colin Kaepernick took a stand for the sake of the league, and now he's got no job. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is if I'm an NFL owner, I have other things to worry about. I've got other businesses to run. I've got league meetings. I've got ways to improve my team. I don't need a backup quarterback causing me all these issues. So,
I mean, you're totally spot on. But
this isn't Aaron Rodgers. We're talking about Colin Kaepernick.
But don't tell me it's a compromise. It's not. Okay, what Kaepernick did, he should have went about it a different way. And they do this because they know this is where they're getting the most audience. All right, this is the biggest platform. It is an NFL game on a Sunday day game at 1 o'clock. You have a morning on a West Coast, whatever. But I feel this could be done in so many other different ways. Why go against it? Why not wear it? Okay? The truth of the matter is African Americans, unfortunately, are oppressed in this country and still are. It is unfair. It is unjust. But how are we going to fix it? Okay? Are we going to keep it the way it is? Now, the president doesn't make it any better. He does not. Sending out the comments. You had the vice president, Pence, sending out #winning. I mean, that to me is Bush League, all right? So it just takes, these guys are billionaires for a reason. I don't know how they got there because they're not showing their smarts right now. We need all to come together, black, white, Hispanic, whatever it may be, come together and find a solution, because the division of this country is not good, and it's not going to get any better from here.
And maybe compromise was the wrong word. I was looking at it more of a step in the right direction.
But I don't think it's that either. You just made it worse. Social-wise, you probably have...
They have the choice now, but they have the choice.
A whole bunch of African Americans, all right? You're not giving them a choice. You're saying...
Yeah, they could stay inside. No one's saying, please go out there.
Okay, but if they stay inside, now for instance... Let's say Terrell Pryor stays inside for the Jets. Terrell Pryor stayed inside.
But if I see him kneeling, you know what the great thing about sports is, and I understand maybe it's not a step in the right direction in some people's eyes, and that's fine, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. I'm not saying this is the best solution. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, if I don't have to play in the NFL, I could go work at another job. I choose to participate in this league, and you get paid very, very handsomely to do so. So if this is something that I understand a lot of people say it's not all about the money. Well,
it is. I'll give you that.
Then don't cash your check.
It's an entertainment business.
Right, don't cash your check then. Mm-hmm. I mean, actors get paid millions of dollars to do movies. You get paid millions of dollars to play football games. In my estimation, we're talking about a 1-minute national anthem here. Let's get to football. We want to talk football. We don't want to be talking about this. Let's move on.
You're absolutely right. And we could spend on this conversation for 5 hours, but we know where we stand. And like I said before, we're Switzerland of the group. We just want to see compromise and everyone come together.
We just want the NFL to not be the not for long. We want it to be the
I want
to
watch a game and just enjoy it and not worried about who's kneeling, who's in a locker room, who's doing what. Let's just enjoy the game and forget about color, race, whatever, but come together.
Let's make 1 o'clock, 4, 4:30, 8, 8:30 football times. Not times to see who's doing what. It's football time. Let's get down to business.
And you know what? We're going to get down to business here. Rick, I have a question for you. Vet versus rookie, all right? Who out of the QBs drafted will play in 2018? And how will they affect fantasy and reality? Pick one for reality, pick one for fantasy.
So we live in a fantasy world. We try to sometimes.
Right.
Reality.
I'm on my own island, as my wife pretty much says all the time.
Yeah, well, reality hits us on the backside real quick sometimes. But if we're looking at it from a fantasy purpose, perfect world, all 6 of these quarterbacks are starting for their respective teams. Right. Sorry, Big Ben, I'm about to do this to you. I know you've gone back and forth.
Wow.
Mason Rudolph. Now, we look at Mason Rudolph and you say, oh, he's just another Big 12 quarterback. Mm. That's not the case here, my friend. Mason Rudolph already has a partner in James Washington, who he had played multiple years with, who I'm very high on. James Washington, coming out of Oklahoma State, big threat target. Who does he remind you of? Martavis Bryant. Martavis Bryant, now out in Oakland. Okay. Congratulations, Derek Carr.
They had to do that.
You've now added yourself Jordy Nelson, Martavis Bryant, to go along with Amari Cooper, and the loss of Michael Crabtree. Sorry to say, we'll take him. The Ravens will take him off your hands, but I look at these teams. I look at Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin has Big Ben and Mason Rudolph. What do they have in common? They're big. They're strong. A lot of people made the argument Landry Jones would succeed him. Landry Jones, another kid out of Oklahoma, big, strong, big arm. He's awful. Yeah, what I looked at, I'm not saying
and
Mason.
Ben has those injury history.
Ben's someone who takes a lot of hits, good or bad. He's a warrior. He plays.
He wants to play for another 3 or 5 years.
Well, I mean, him and Brady are having this renaissance. Let's play to we're 70. But as a franchise, you got to get ready. And Mason Rudolph, he's going to surpass Landry Jones for that second spot.
Oh, absolutely.
We know he's third on the depth chart. That's just because Rudolph comes after Jones alphabetically. They didn't do they didn't do that because it was 2 and 3. So I look at the loss of Martavis Bryant. That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You've got the B&B brothers. Right there, if they can keep these guys in Steeler Nation, you got Le'Veon, who's an absolute fantasy stud. You got Antonio Brown, an absolute fantasy stud. You have Juju Smith-Schuster, who will replace Martavis Bryant and probably exceed him in my expectation. A great second fiddle to Antonio Brown. And I don't mean to say fiddle in a disrespectful way. I mean to say that Antonio Brown deserves the utmost respect. Juju Smith going to provide that second option.
Sleeper this year, Juju.
A lot of predictions with sleepers there. Jesse James, most known for the catch, has the catch, drops the ball. Jesse James is a safety target. Everyone needs it. You've had Jason Witten. You've had Todd Heat for the Ravens. You've had Jeremy Shockey for the Giants. Dustin Keller for the Jets.
Oh,
you need that safety valve, and Jesse James is that. And James Washington is a big play threat. He's played with Mason Rudolph. He has Big Ben to take him along. So I think the best plug-and-play option out of all these guys right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Mason Rudolph. They have the team around him. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I think it's a very good choice. And I want to hear your opinion because I know you're a big Sam Darnold guy. He's UFC 2.0. He's Mark Sanchez again. We're going to playoffs. Who's your guy for fantasy success?
Well, okay. So you started us off with your fantasy guy. I'm going to give you my reality guy, and then we'll go into your reality, and I'll go into my fantasy. So my reality guy is yes, Jets Nation. I am being a homer here, and I am owning up to it. It is Mr. Sam Darnold. Now, you go, well, Puma, why do you pick Sam Darnold? Is it because you're a crazy Jet fan? What? You have this fascination.
You're being neutral.
And I'm being neutral. I'm being neutral. And you have this crazy fascination with USC. What is it about Sam Darnold that you love? And you think that he'll prosper as a reality quarterback? Okay, well, here's some reasons. Jeremy Bates. Okay? Jeremy Bates has the West Coast system. Okay? They ran a little bit of that at USC with the RPOs, which everyone is running now, okay? 2, what is Josh McCown noted for? He's a veteran. He's a great player. But, like the Ben Roethlisberger, I would say even worse, he gets injured. He has never started a whole season, okay? I didn't even have to look that up. I know that, okay? Number 3, okay? What sells tickets? Mr. Sam Darnold sells tickets.
Well, do we know that? Do we know that? Do we know that?
I have a great listen. What did I tell you? This is an entertainment business. All right. I want those PSL people to buy, don't I? Don't I? I want now. Listen, the right thing to do would make him sit because I like my steak marinated, and it usually tastes good, nice and tender. But this is a entertainment business, and we need to sell tickets. McCown gets hurt by probably week 3 against the Browns, his old team, because that's how life works.
Or maybe he lights them up. Maybe he does damage to his old team. Maybe Sam Darnold does get that chance to marinate. Maybe the Jets have a renaissance 8-8 season. Then what do you do? What if the Jets go out this season 8-8? They're vying for a wild card spot. Well, we know this is real fantasy land. I'm 8-8 for the Jets. But what does Sam Darnold do then? Or is he starting week 1 regardless?
You want me to make you crazy? I think they go 9-7.
And we don't have time.
We're not picking games right now, okay?
Right, we're not.
But they are tied 25th on strength of schedule.
Yeah, that's great.
And they have
do you need talent to win games?
Yes, you do. And I think they have a very sleeper talented team. You just added Terrell Pryor, who wasn't used properly with the Redskins. Let's be real. You know, just a season ago before 2017, he was
Sam Darnold better than Kirk Cousins?
Right now, I would say no. Eventually, yes. Right now, I would say no.
Then
eventually,
we're not arguing there because Kirk Cousins is better than, in my opinion, I think he's going to be better than any of these quarterbacks.
Okay, but Ricky, the segment is rookies, and my rookie is going to be Sam Darnold because you have a quarterback that doesn't stay stably, doesn't play a lot of games, and Josh McCown. 2, you want to sell tickets, and 3, the itch of taking a quarterback 3rd in the draft, all this money, the future of the franchise. Mark it down, folks. Week 4, he will be in there.
All right, and that makes sense.
And I think also, too, the Jets just acquired an Isaiah Crowell. They have Bilal Powell.
They can run. They can run the ball.
Toilet Bowles there, Todd Bowles.
They can run.
They run the ball, and play a little D, keep it close to the vest, and then you win with a field goal. Cairo Santos, KC.
Yeah, no, and those points make sense. And you're right, Sam Darnold, he's the hot new guy. Whether he fizzes out or not,
he has the turnover problem. But he'll fix it.
Right. Hopefully,
those things are fixable.
Hopefully he does, and Todd Bowles hopefully they can get him right, and he doesn't need to be Peyton Manning. What he needs to be, he just needs to be himself. And I think being himself
is good enough.
Is good enough. So
yeah,
as you talked about your
reality
guy, I'm going to go to my reality guy, and another guy. His ceiling is higher than Darnold in my opinion, but his floor is a lot lower. And I'm going to go with Josh Allen. Josh Allen. First game I saw this season, he struggled. I was very turned off by Josh Allen in college. Didn't put up the big numbers. He's got a cannon of an arm. We know he can throw it 65, 70 yards. Problem is, you don't have time for that. This isn't the combine. This isn't me, you, and we're out on the field. Let's see how far we can throw. He's got to be a quarterback. So he's got weapons around him. If we take Tyrod Taylor, who don't even get me started, the Bills went to a playoff game last year, and they did well against a Jacksonville team that proved to be pretty
competent enough
good
to run an offense. He's competent. I don't think the Bills made the right decision going to Nathan Peterman, but it was great for my fantasy defense, the LA Chargers. But
it's AJ McCarron there, Josh Allen, Nathan Peterman. So McCarron should get the opening day start as he should. He played well for Cincinnati at times, so he's not a complete bum. Nathan Peterman really should be looking to order some wings in Buffalo and hope he could hand them out in the parking lots because he couldn't hand them out to his receivers. He had more interceptions than completions, Puma. I don't know how you do that at the NFL level. The only thing that's close, he was close to his local Pittsburgh Panthers.
Yes.
That's the only thing he was close to. He was better off throwing the ball to his Pittsburgh Panthers receivers than he was on that day versus the Chargers, but Josh Allen, he's got McCoy. I think Kelvin Benjamin is a big red zone target. I know you hate him. Zay Jones is another guy, young rookie. Tyrod Taylor can't throw the ball. I think Josh Allen can get him that ball. Jeremy Curley in the slot. he's a little Marquise Goodwin type. He can get the ball. He can make plays. He's not Antonio Brown, but he gets the ball, and he's exciting, and you can get him, he makes things happen for you. The Jet fans loved him, a little kid out of TCU. And Charles Clay. Charles Clay is one of those guys, like, if you have him on fantasy, you're praying he catches one ball because that ball's a 70-yard touchdown. If he can't catch the ball, Charles Clay is giving you 0. But one of the things that you probably didn't even think about, and I'm a big college football guy, I want to bring it up. He's got 2 things going for him. Veterans, Andre Holmes and Rod Streeter, 2 kids coming I shouldn't even say kids. They're veteran guys. They played in the league.
Used to be on Oakland.
Both used to be on Oakland.
Okay.
Andre Holmes was on Oakland too.
Yes.
They had the chance to learn with Derek Carr. They had the chance to learn with Marshawn Lynch. They had the chance to learn with Amari Cooper and Crabtree. They could bring that knowledge and infuse it into a young Bills team. Kelvin Benjamin's young. Zay Jones is young. Curley's relatively young. He's got some experience, but with the Jets, that pretty much means nothing.
You could play off the run game with Shady.
Right. Shady's done enormous amount of things. You don't think he wishes he was still in Philly? He couldn't do better than Jay Ajayi, please. He was loved there. Him, Deshaun Jackson, and Jason Avant, and Macklin. Don't even get me started.
That was a team.
The rookie class.
Mike Vick.
And good old Mike Vick. They put up a ton on that against the Redskins on Monday night game. But I want to give you some of these rookies that I think can be big for the Bills and big for Josh Allen, assuming he plays in relatively soon. Malachi Dupre, a kid out of LSU. He's long, he's athletic. He reminds me of who? Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry knows is a big-time playmaker, and I think he could bring that to the Buffalo Bills. Kalen Clay, a little guy out of Utah, mostly known for his punt returning skills. But Kalen Clay, he made plays happen at Utah, and that's what the Bills need, playmakers. Malachi Dupre could be a playmaker. Kalen Clay could be a playmaker. And who's a bigger playmaker than Ray McCloud? You're looking at me, who the heck is Ray McCloud?
This is true. I really am.
Ray McCloud, he was one of the biggest targets for, I don't know, you might have heard of him, Deshaun Watson. Watson loved
Clemson?
Big Clemson guy. He loved Ray McCloud. He can return. He can go on the outside. He can put him in the backfield. Who does he remind you of? Who's that guy who you could put him anywhere?
Yes.
Tell me.
Ray McCloud?
Yep.
He's
got a little. I hate to do this. A little Le'Veon in him.
Come on.
He could do a little bit of everything. So I look at Dupree, Clay, and McCloud. I look at those 3. I look at Andre Holmes and Streeter, who can be productive. Carr was really struggling last year. They had a poor season.
There's a lot of
McCoy,
optimism.
they have a lot of options. There's optimism there, but if I'm the Bills, I know I can. What do I have to do if I'm Josh Allen? I hand the ball off. I play defense. I think he can do that. I think the Bills can get back to the playoffs, and he's my guy for the future in Buffalo.
Right. They'll line up in that power O. They'll do some Pittsburgh counter off the in the shotgun there, but definitely. Hey, listen, I love your points. Some of the players you even got me on. I didn't know that they drafted those players, but that was a good.
No
take
one does, and that's what.
Yeah, that was a good take by you.
No one does.
I'll give you that. My next one for fantasy is Chosen Rosen, Mr. Josh Rosen.
Are you kidding me? Josh Rosen. This guy, he's known for one game versus Texas A&M. They're down by 1,000 points. He comes back and he wins the game. Don't get me started with Chosen Rosen.
Mark it down. Going to be the best quarterback that came out of that draft.
Josh Rosen couldn't deliver the ball to Michael Crabtree right now if he was handing it off to him in the backfield, Puma. Please.
Do you want me to explain to you why he's my fantasy? Are we going to get to that? Listen, people, why he's going to be my fantasy choices. Look at the team that he was selected to. You got a healthy David Johnson coming back. The guy's a beast. I would say one of the top 3 running backs in the game. Then you have a Larry Fitzgerald. And, by the way, drafted Christian Kirk. Who could train a future, maybe Larry Fitzgerald. I see.
Oh, don't do that.
I see Christian Kirk. He reminds me of a Golden Tate, but you know what? If he could, he looks like a PPR guy for you guys out there.
If he's Golden Tate, does he have more than 3 yards to catch? Because that's all Golden Tate can do. But we'll move on. I'll say Christian Kirk's going to be a star.
I think Chosen Rosen will be the quarterback that you remember out of this draft, and he will be a fantasy focus this year, sleeper, because of the team around him. Moving on, all right? Because we got to do that. I could bicker with Ricky all night. Fantasy wild cards, all right? High risk players, all right? We got high risk, high reward, all right? I'm going to choose Mr. Brandon Cooks from the not St. Louis, LA Rams. LA Rams. All right? I think you don't just trade a first-round pick for a guy and not use him. I know, he had 114 targets last year, 65 receptions, 1,082 yards, 7 touchdowns. That's all great, but then again, he's with Bellatrix. All right? Bellatrix could pull out somebody, and then all of a sudden you see Phil Dorsett catching 2 touchdowns. So I think with McVay, he will show his greatness that he, a little bit that he showed with Sean Payton in years past. But then you could have Brandon Cooks get you a 0 because he just didn't get any looks because you have Todd Gurley in the back. You got Robert Woods coming over as that PPR monster. You got Cooper Kupp in the end zone. So that's
some Cooper Kupp.
I love me some Cooper Kupp. Eastern Washington. So, Cooper Kupp reminds me of like a better version of Eric Decker. But I feel like there's so many weapons that this guy could either be for you a great Tyreek Hill who gets you 35-plus points, or he could be, Jermaine Kearse and get you 10. So it depends, but that's why he's my high risk, high reward. He could win you a week and he could lose you a week.
Yeah,
who's your guy?
And that's a good point. My guy is Michael Crabtree. I don't know how high risk, high reward he is in that fact because he's had a lot of success in Oakland. And we talked about hungry with the Rockets. He's got something to prove. The Raiders wanted him gone. They wanted to go younger. They get Martavis Bryant, and they wanted a true veteran in Jordy Nelson, and they couldn't find a place for Crabtree. Fine. He's gone. The Ravens have him. Big fan. I love him.
And you're a big Ravens guy.
Big Ravens guy. He's going to do well there. Flacco's going to love him. He wasn't even the Ravens' number 1 choice. You know who that was? Mr. Dez Bryant.
Wow. Mr. Dez, and he turned it down.
And Dez turned it down. So one of the things that he is going to do. He's going to play with fire. He was a first-round pick out of Texas Tech. Let me give you a quick background stat before I have a chance to just go through why I think he's going to be good. He's got 232 catches since 2015. 232 catches, over 2,500 yards receiving, 25 touchdowns. That puts him in a class with Antonio Brown, Doug Baldwin, Odell, and DeAndre Hopkins. So it's an elite class. He's a reliable pass catcher. And realistically, Joe Flacco needs that safety valve. That guy you can get you that 10-yard curl route. That guy, that toughness guy, and Crabtree's going to do it. The best way I can compare him is Steve Smith, tough, hard-nosed guy from the Panthers, came over, did wonders for them, and Anquan Bolden. Mr. Bolden might have had the best Super Bowl run as a receiver potentially ever. I'm not saying he's going to do that for the Ravens this year. They had Ray Lewis. And they had Ed Reed, and they were doing all that stuff. But on the other front, you have John Brown. He was there. Torrey Smith.
He's a bust.
You have John Brown.
He's a bum. Bum. I picked him up one week, and you know what he did for me? He got me a fat zero.
And Willie Snead, who could be the Jacoby Jones. All I'm saying is Crabtree's going to get you the targets. But the one thing he has in his favor, and I love Joe Flacco to death. I do. He's coming off an ACL surgery.
Bum. Yeah.
He's got that. He's not making as much money now as you thought because guys like Kirk Cousins and Brady doesn't do the league justice because he doesn't get paid anything. But I think Crabtree is the high risk, high reward guy for me. Flacco's going to make him do well, and he's going to put up some numbers.
Going back to the John Brown, why I hate him so much. Sometimes I would get Jaron Brown, and then I would get confused on who's getting the ball. And one is 14, one is 12, and I'm like, wait, which Brown is this again? The Brown brothers, thank God they're split up because that killed us fantasy owners if you had any Arizona Cardinal other than Larry Fitzgerald. Moving on, because we have to, all right? Baseball picks to click, all right, my friend? I'm going to start out with my pick to click this weekend is Mr. Mike Trout coming to the Bronx. All right? By the way, let's give Ricky a little clap. He won the picks to click. He had Scherzer and Mookie Betts. I mean, geez, I don't even have to say anything further. But Mike Trout, outfielder for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the best player in baseball. He career has 7 home runs, batting .276, slugging .540 against these New York Yankees. I think he will go off this weekend. Who's your?
And he's a New Jersey kid. He's going to be motivated. He loves.
He's
playing
happy. Philly. His team's the Eagles. Even though he's an Eagle, Eagle fan.
Well, that's because it's South Jersey.
Yeah.
But he loves playing the Yankees. My guy is Bryce Harper. You know what I did? I saw the Marlins. I saw Urania was pitching, and I'm like, all right, well, who hits Urania? It's Harper. The Marlins have just been awful. They can't do anything right.
Yeah,
Jeter hasn't done a thing. The only thing they've done well was some improvements to the ballpark. They don't know how to run a team. Harper's been getting hot. He had his 15th homer the other night. Yeah. And the Nats need to keep up with the Braves and the Phils. So I think Harper's motivated. He's going to get going, and he's going to have a good weekend series.
Okay, great. My pitcher for the weekend is Mr. James Paxton. Okay? James is a dog, all right? He's really come on this season, the fellow Canadian. He threw a no-hitter early in the year. The guy's been a godsend for Seattle, who's been going through I can't even name it. I couldn't even say it in English because it's been so bad. But career numbers, James Paxton against the Minnesota Twins, he owns them, my friend. He owns them. And he is one of the lead leaguers with strikeouts with 23. So I say he dominates as my pitcher to click.
Yeah, and mine's Cole Hamels. Real quick, 2-1 with just an ERA over 2 in his last 5. He held the Yanks to 2 runs. We talked about that earlier. He this past Tuesday, and as a member of the Rangers against the Royals, he's 3-0 with an ERA of .93. Yeah. And one of the biggest things we've talked about, today's topic seems to be hungry. He's hungry. Get him out of Texas, please.
Yeah.
Someone get him out of Texas.
You think he gets traded?
I hope he gets traded to the Yankees. I hope he gets traded somewhere.
I actually really like it because you don't have to give up much.
He's motivated, and he's motivated.
He's taking on that salary.
He talked about it when the Yankees came into town. He said, this might be a team that I'm pitching for down the road. So he's motivated. He wants to get going, and he's going to have a good outing this weekend.
All right, great. Okay, so now I just want to say something from Ricky and I and JFP Sports. We here at JFP Sports will always keep it fun, loose, show complete professionalism when talking sports. But in the end, these are all games and distractions from reality. We just like to take a moment to recognize the victims of this horrific tragedy last week in Santa Fe, Texas. Our thoughts and our prayers are with and will always be with those victims and their families during these hard times. We'll just take a moment. Okay, listeners, so please subscribe to JFP Sports on YouTube. Please, we need your help. We've just gotten this show off the ground. We need your subscription. Please, subscribe at JFP Sports on YouTube. Our IG is JFP Sports Talk to DM questions to Ricky and I so we could answer them right on this show. And next show, we will be premiering our mailbag segment. So please stay tuned for that. We want to cater to all our listeners, or at least try to, and get their answers to their questions on air. In the words of the great Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Thank you, folks. Till next time.